Hello everybody, welcome back.
Black Mask entered the prison here. I need to
We'll
find
start
Commissioner Loeb before it's too late.
recording here in a little bit. As per usual, tried my game here for a bit. I was having some technical difficulties earlier where I couldn't get things to connect. So
You ain't gonna live to find out. So, Black Mask can't leave no loose ends like that. What are you waiting for? No, please, no! Oh, I'll kill you, all right. But by the time I do, that eye won't be the only thing you'll. What is that? Behind you. Oh, come on. Expect me to fall for that? I mean, try something original. Who do you think you are?
where we left off last time, we were working on the web part, the frequent asked question web part. We had worked on editing, on the display mode issues. We fixed those. We're now able to create, update, delete. We were looking at ideas on what we could expand. What could we add in addition to where it's at right now? Adding additional features, seeing where we go from there. Taking it one step at a time, obviously. See how we can grow this web part. So let's work on that. All right.
These are Black Mask's men. I'll make them tell me where I can find Black Mask.
Oh, come on. Let's restart. I'm kind of a perfectionist. If I mess up, I have to start over again. Let's try it again.
These are Black Mask's men.
Cannot be hit.
I'll make them tell me where I can find Black.
I have to make sure that Batman does not get hit. Ah, let me start again. There was one time that I was in a part of the game where I am playing I'm playing the game and my daughters are watching me play the game. And there's this part where I'm in the prison similar to this, but there's a whole lot more people to fight. And unfortunately, well, you might have guessed that there was a bunch of times that I would have to restart. Especially when I haven't played in a long time like I have in here recently. I usually would play the game, but be a little bit more play it more, obviously.
Where's Black Mask?
Like anything else, practice makes perfect, right?
How much pain you endure before
But
that's in your hands.
yeah, I wouldn't
I don't have time for this.
I wouldn't play it as often as I would have liked here recently. So and it's one of those things where you're just like, so this game has a scenario or a part that Batman's costume or his the way he, his costume as he starts going through the game, the cape can get damaged. Obviously the uniform itself will get in really bad shape. And then that's something that I've been trying to avoid. Oh, come on. I think my Bluetooth just gave out on my... There you go.
Drone. That doesn't belong here. Wonder who's controlling it.
Restart. We gotta restart it. You messed up. Can't get hit.
A drone. That doesn't belong here. Wonder who's controlling it.
Let's try it again. I get hit, you gotta restart that checkpoint. That's the deal. Oh, that was quite the slam. Jeez. That looked
The only way to
painful.
advance is to grapple up and over this gate. I should hurry.
Got a B? Come on, I didn't even get hit. I should have gotten an A.
Look like that's
Let's
what
keep
got
going.
into this mess in the first place.
Don't hurt me! Please!
Attention inmates. Anyone who has seen the criminal Black Mask or his subordinates.
It should be interesting when we fight Croc, because I've done it before. And as per usual, obviously the bad guys have to cheat. He's gonna get help. And well, oh, I think I have to hit this thing right here. There we go.
We got a live one.
Let's try that again. Turn around so we can see what's going on. Get over here. I like that. They should have incorporated maybe like I don't know, a little bit like Scorpion. Get over here. Where are we at? Let's see what we gotta do. There we go. Hit the switch.
That area of the floor is weak. I can use my explosive gel to break through.
Destroy the barrier here. Again, we'll get the coding here in a little bit, but I figure we can have a little bit of fun first. Discuss, like I said, where we're at with the web part. The web part already has create, update, delete on it. The next thing we have to do is add some features to it. Add something that the users are gonna like to use when using that web part. So I'm gonna play my game here for a little bit. See if anybody else joins us. Just a reminder, I am streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you, whatever you prefer, you can definitely go to either platform. The good thing about YouTube, I know that some people like, is that you can rewind. Can't do that on Twitch, but if you want to, you can always rewind the stream on YouTube and watch it on YouTube as well. Handles the same. Try catch angler on both. Oh, I got hit. Never mind. We gotta restart. I got hit. Dang it. Come on. You gotta do better than that. Yes. Batman dropped the ball. It wasn't me. Start over again. See if we can, how many restarts this part will take. Hopefully I'll get it this time. There we go. Off to a good start. I gotta work on my combos a little bit more. My combos aren't that great. I remember being a lot better at this. What do we gotta do? How do we get to that guy? Oh, here we go. Bring this down. I want to get at least the croc real quick, and then we can start coding. Let's get the killer croc and go from there. Killer croc, beat him, and then I think it'd be a good time to start coding.
I need to depress both switches at around the same time to open that door.
Just to press them both at the same time. There we go. We got it. Oh, there we go. Gotta go up here. Oh. Bring this barrier down. Let's keep going. If you're on the chat, and I mean, if you see you can chat, let me know where you're watching from. Welcome to my stream. Usually what I do is I start by playing the game for a little bit, and then obviously I get to doing some of the coding. I mostly concentrate on SharePoint framework development right now, doing SharePoint development in general. Another thing that we could possibly even look at is how we can actually translate some of the development from the SharePoint world into the like full stack development mode. I think you can really do both actually. If you have good practices and you work on your SharePoint framework development skills, you can take those same skills and work in other types of development. Just a thought. And what I do is I take some of, so there was a time where I would actually work in full stack development, and I'm taking a lot of those same practices here. Oh, I got hit. Restart. I'm taking a lot of those same practices here. I follow some of the same development methodologies that I would do if I was, working in a full stack development environment. So definitely take advantage of that. I think that, that it'd be a good thing to have. Got hit again. It'd be a good thing to have, something that you can expand on and maybe try a different field for a while. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I did it. I did full stack development for a little, like over 2 years. So I just had done SharePoint development for so long that I wanted to try something else. I keep on getting hit, and this is so crazy because this is like one of the easiest parts to get through. Maybe it's because I'm talking, I'm not concentrating. Let's try this one more time. One more time. We don't make it, we'll have to stop here. Killer Croc will have to wait for another night. See how high we can get this combo up. Keep going. Get over here. Did I get them all? Oh, look at that. We got them all. I guess we get to go to face Killer Croc. Didn't get hit. Come on, you gotta give me at least an A. What's my score? What's my grade? A B. Jeez. Man, this thing's tough on me. Let's keep on going. Where are we going next? I know that there's a part where we have to fight Killer Croc here at the beginning. Which, as I said, I know that I'm not gonna get that on the first try, obviously. So
I told you to grab the memory card.
we'll have to stop there and maybe play another time.
The next thing that gets smashed will be your face.
But we'll keep
The
going.
memory card is damaged, but I should be able to recover most of the data back at the Batcave.
Oh no, where did it go? Well, we have to go up here, obviously. And what do we do up here? Oh, there's some ladder right here. We walk right by it. There's another ladder over here. Here we go. This is the part. Would I be able to do it first try? We shall see. Or it could be like the Lego Batman where he's throwing the batarang to the switch and he keeps on doing it over and over again, and then he just at the end when he finally hits it, like first try. All right. I'm gonna beat this guy
I know
here.
I caught yours.
All right, let's do this. Let's beat him up. I think it's my controller that's messing up. Ah, I got hit. We'll do one time restart. One time. We'll restart one time. See if we don't get hit again. I have it on hard, so and then the worst part of it is that I don't know if I'm having issues with my Bluetooth on my computer. But hopefully we can make it past this part. We can't get hit. If we get hit, we gotta start over again. Alright, here we go. What? I literally am pressing Y. Ah. One more time, one more time. I think, like I said, it's I'm having interference with my Bluetooth. Try one more time. Okay, see that I'm literally pressing buttons and now it's just not even working. Let's try it again. It could also be the battery on my controller that's going out. Ooh, he barely missed me there. Oh, I got hit. All right. All right. We're done for tonight. We'll come back to Killer Croc tomorrow. Um, let's see if we can get some coding done. Where's my virtual machine? Here's my virtual machine. All right, let's close this. I had to restart my virtual machine. So as I was saying, we're working on the SharePoint framework web part. We've done a lot so far. We've worked on the creating, updating, deleting items in the web part. Now our next thing is to add some additional features, because I think some of these features could play really well into some of these features can play really well into some of the additional things that you have to take into consideration when building these things. One of the things that I like to demonstrate to you is how to properly nest componentry so that whenever you're loading data, one of the things that React has is that if you don't know how to properly load the data, it is going to have a lot of intermittent refreshes where, like, you're looking at the screen and the user clicks on something, and when they click on it, it will then show like a little flash of the screen. And obviously we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to make sure that the user has a seamless point of view when looking at things like that. So that's one of the things that I want to show you today, is how to go about working on the web part, and how to understand how the components are loading and how to best make use of some of the tools that React offers you so that you can avoid the re-rendering issue. As I mentioned, you will have re-rendering issues if you don't properly set up your componentry. So one of the things that was we looked at yesterday was let me go back to my browser, and we looked at FAQ design ideas. And on one of the ideas that I saw, look at the images. One of the ideas that I saw was that we had a scenario where you had this one right here. You had an option where you had like several different categories to choose from, and then you would have your questions asked right below it. I was thinking we could incorporate something like that, because what we can do if we have a scenario like that is we can have categories. And so if we have categories, we can also, show you, I can also show you how you can avoid hitting that 5,000 limit threshold. Because if you really think about it, everything has a category. If you were building a ticketing system, you would have categories like a status. That would be your category. Like, is it is it in progress? Is it pending? And so you can actually say, I can create a ticketing system that could have over 5,000 items, but if I index the category, if I have 7 categories, I can then leverage that to my advantage, because now I can index my category. In my case, if it's a ticket status, if I'm working on a ticket status web part, I can add an index to that column for the status. In our case, I think we should add a category field. That way the user can then allocate and put the questions in a specific category, and then we can have like a toggler. And one of the things that comes to mind that we could use is the SPFx. I'm not SPFx, but Fabric UI pivot. So Fabric UI has a pivot control. So we go into controls, we type in pivot. So pivot has this methodology where you can select. So these would be obviously our categories, and it's very similar. I mean, if you look at it, it's very similar to what we see up at the top with the categories on top. So I think that we could do that and allow us to put categories in here and be able to be able to basically filter by those and show those. And logically, what like I was mentioning, we want to have a way that whenever we do click on this information, we have a way of making that wait and only display the data when we're pulling that information from it. When I sit and think about it, though, I mean, now that I'm really putting my mind to it, this probably won't be a good example, unfortunately. The best examples are whenever you have categories or like if you have a parent-child relationship. In our scenario here for the FAQ, it could be kind of overkill to have a list handle categories and then have a parent-child relationship that way. Um, I'm just thinking out loud that that might not be optimal. Um, but I mean, we can do it. I think we can create it a little bit overbuilt just so that you can see a demonstration of what I'm talking about. So essentially what we would have is inside our web part, we can go to our, I think it's right here. So basically the way it would work is instead of adding a category part to the list itself, let's add a list that will act as a parent that will hold the categories for us. So essentially what we do is we go to site contents and we can create a new list. And it's going to be called FAQ topics. Let's call it that. FAQ topics. Yeah, FAQ topics. So we can create that. So now we're gonna use two lists now, which again, it's overbuilding, it's over engineering here. We don't need to over engineer this, but for the purposes of what I do here, obviously, is to show you architecture and how we go about building applications. We're gonna over engineer it just so that you can see how it would work to have the scenario where you have a parent-child relationship. Um, we're gonna probably work on it for about 30 minutes, see how far we get. This might be a two-part. Got a little carried away there trying to get to Killer Croc on the game. But like I said, let's work on it. Let's give it some time and see what we can what we can get out of it. Okay. So in our categories, basically we're gonna have the categories for the FAQ, or not categories. In our case, it's going to be our topics, right? Because our topics are gonna basically how we're going to. It is gonna be how we can actually segregate some of our questions. So we're gonna have that, and if I go to site contents, we're going to have the FAQ list. And to this FAQ list, I think what we could do is we can add a column, which would be the parent ID. So if we go to list settings, we can add that column. Another thing that I'm going to show you also is how to get the data to where you can set up the web part to self create these artifacts. Basically, these lists. Obviously, it's not optimal for a user to have to come in and have to know what list to create. Your web part should do that. And there's two ways of doing that. You can do that through provisioning assets, or you can create a script that automatically does that. Obviously, it depends on you have a preference here. The biggest difference is that if you use provisioning assets, the user doesn't have to have that much rights. Like your average user that has, the ability to create a page out of web part can do that. But if you're going to be using a scripting method, then there are certain considerations to take into account because the user may not have the adequate permissions, whether it be to create a list, things of that nature. So we have to, we'll try both of them, and we'll see the differences between them. We can actually use another user as a test and start just progressively giving them access until we figure out what the differences are, but my understanding is that if you're going to create a list, you have to have a certain level of permission. If you don't, then you won't be able to create the list through the scripting method. But provisioning assets doesn't take that into account. It basically overrides that. It doesn't go based on the user's permission. But we'll test it out and we'll see what we find. So as I was mentioning, we're going to add a column. So we're going to create a column in this list that's going to tie in to the topic list. So the topic list is going to be the parent. So we're going to have a parent ID that's going to be a type of lookup to the topics list. So here we're going to select the topic list. The topic list. Let's see, FAQ topics. And we're just going to be looking at the ID. Actually, we don't want title. We want the ID. So we have FAQ topics, the ID. And we click OK. One of the things that you noticed on here is that you have a restrict delete and cascade delete. If you have that enabled, which I suggest you do, what that means is that if you delete the parent, if the user comes in and deletes a topic, it'll go and cascade and delete all the children for you. One thing to consider though is that if you do have that setting, it may counteract with your programming. So for instance, if you're deleting from SharePoint, it's a good thing to have. But if you're deleting from the web part, typically what you're going to do on your web part is you're going to delete the parent and then chain the events to delete all the children from the child list. So you got to weigh what you're going to do in that scenario. Are you going to delete everything utilizing your are you going to delete everything utilizing programming? Are you gonna write out some code, or are you going to delete it, through the UI? Which again, if you're building a web part, it should be a one-stop shop. You build it, and everything should be handled from the web part. The user should not have to go in the back end and delete anything. So just something to keep in mind when you do this. So let's go ahead and continue. All right, so we have our FAQ list. We've added our parent ID. So our parent ID, obviously, like I said, is going to tie into our FAQ topics. And so we want to make sure that we can leverage this now. So in our web part, we're going to basically be creating a way for a user to be able to create, I think it'd be ideal if they have a toggle that allows them to either have a multi-use FAQ or a single-use FAQ. I think that would be the best thing that we can do. And we should probably give them like a guided user interface so that they can say, okay, am I going to build or am I going to add a multi-topic FAQ, or am I just going to add a single topic FAQ? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to our web part, and we're still going to keep this for when we're in edit mode. So in edit mode, let's go back to our default layout. Inside our default layout, we have our action button. And then we have our cards that we're basically iterating through our FAQ items to display them in an expandable accordion card. Here is where we want to kind of add our method. So if there are no questions, typically the user comes and they would have, let's delete the if. Let's go to the web part, just so that I can make sense as I'm talking about this. All right, so we have our FAQ.SPFx. All right, so here we have two questions, obviously, and answers. So we're gonna edit the page. And we're gonna go ahead and get rid of them. So we delete them, republish, and it says no FAQ items found. Edit the page to add FAQs. So when the user clicks on edit, they should see not add FAQ, but maybe two cards that say, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want is this gonna be a multi-use FAQ? And then once we're done with it, we might even be able to add like an image so they kind of understand what it means by multi-use. Or is this gonna be a single use? Like you're only gonna do one topic on this FAQ. Um, so let's go ahead and do that. So if we go to our component tree here, we have basically this is what's happening. If it's not in display mode, we're displaying this message that says you need to edit to add, and then we show this div with the add new FAQ. I think we need to change this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new component, and we're gonna call this let's call it FAQ type selector. All right. And I'm using React snippets. This is an extension that you can add to your Visual Studio Code that allows you to just type in an abbreviation for the component that you're trying to add. In my case, I'm trying to add a React arrow functional component. And so, but obviously for SharePoint framework, I have to import all as React from React. So that's the only edit that I have to do. But other than that, it creates my component automatically. And this is going to be a React functional component. And it's going to basically be a component that allows us to make a selection, for the user to know, let us know what kind of FAQ is this going to be. Okay. And we can, one of the things that I like to do, if I'm using GitHub Copilot, I can actually add a comment here that says this component will allow the user to select the FAQ type, whether it be a single set of FAQs or allow for multiple topics to be created. It should have two large clickable cards. With text inside indicating the two options. Maybe make sure I spell this correctly. Indicating the two options. So let's go ahead and do that. FAQ type selector. Let me see if GitHub Copilot picks up on what I want to do. So we can maybe add okay, so it's already, let's see what it does for us. The first thing that I see off the bat is I am not a big fan of inline styles. So single FAQ, and then we're gonna have the multi FAQ. So and for now, obviously, it's just gonna alert what we see. So let's see what this looks like. Again, it's just giving us an idea. All right, so we don't need it in the form. We need to be inside a default layout, and instead of having this action button, or we can put it next to the action button, let's say FAQ type selector, and let's import that there. The page is going to refresh. And look at that. I think that's pretty good. I like the cards. I am not a UX UI guy. Unfortunately, I'm more of the programming side. So I do use AI as my helper when it comes to building these things out to make them look nicer. And so I think that if you use it in that methodology, it can be to your benefit. But don't get in the habit of letting it do everything for you. And don't get in the habit of just telling it do X, and then this thing chains a bunch of things together, and then all you have is a lot of spaghetti code. It's better to just take it one step at a time, give it a descriptor just like you saw me do right here at the top, and then go from there. Like start giving it giving it instructions little by little so that you can get ultimately what you want, which is this is what I wanted. I did want it to be to give me the option to give the user the ability to click on a card, and you know it showed this one's obviously alerting for us, but this is going to switch to a different component based on the selections. um so yeah, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up the styles a little bit. Again, make sure that you do this. Don't say, oh, you know what, I can just wait on getting the you know um the styling done later. Definitely not a good idea. So the first thing I'm gonna do here now that I have that is I'm gonna go ahead and create my FAQ type selector dot module dot scss. So I'm gonna add my scss file here, and then I'm gonna add my classes. So this is going to be the card class. So let's call this navigation. Yeah, navigation card. Um, we did this correctly. And a navigation card is gonna be basically the same thing that you see right here. The only difference is that we're going to take all these take all the commas and change them to semicolon. Put a semicolon here on the last one as well. There we go. And then let's format our document real quick. So border radius. Okay, that changes to that. And text align. I believe text align is, yep, like this. All right, so we have our navigation card. And now we can actually import our selector. But if you recall, one of the things that we're doing is we're using the npm fast serve, which is great, but unfortunately when we do that, it doesn't build every time. So, and that's what makes it faster. But unfortunately, the caveat that we have there is that our modules for SCSS don't get built. So we have to add another terminal, and we're going to run in here gulp build. And you shouldn't have a problem running build while this is running concurrently. But what that's going to do is it's going to create a TS file for the FAQ selector. So now that it's there, I should be able to import it. So I can import styles from the FAQ type selector module.scss. Okay, and now we can, instead of adding this these two, we can say class name, and the class name is going to be styles.navigation card. Close our brace, and we should have basically the same. If we go back, no errors found. We should have had the same style. Let's refresh. So it looks like we lost our style here. What's going on? What did we do wrong? All right, so we have our border. Let's inspect. See what's wrong with our code. So here in our navigation card, why is it getting errors? Oh, yeah, that's why. So border, a little weird. I don't see any issues with the. That's weird. Why is it doing this to me? Invalid property type. Oh, it's the values that it doesn't like. So that's why we gotta get rid of these quotes. The quotes are the issue. Sorry. Like I said, I am not a I am not a UX UI guy, so apologies for that. I do what I can. But now we should see it. There we go. We're in business. Good, 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 good. All right, so now we have our two selectors. So we're going to have to append a inside of our default layout. We're going to have a state that basically lets us know what component to render when the user selects the various different the various different selections. Obviously, if the user does not if the user does not if the user does not if the user comes to the page and says I only want to do one topic, should we give them the option to select the topic and just add it? What that's going to do is it allows us to if the user wants to add the SAM FAQ web part on a different page, they can select it from the existing topics. But now that I'm thinking, again, this is live. I'm not, I haven't really thought it through. I think that instead of having the user have a toggle between should I do a single FAQ topic, we should allow the user to select from either existing topics or add new topics. And if they add new topics, then they'll have to add new questions to those topics. But if they add from existing ones, then we give them the ability to select the different ones in the pivot, right? Because when the user comes to this page, they should be, instead of saying, okay, I want to do multiple topics, they can actually just see the topics. So instead of doing this single or multiple, we actually need to do more of a scenario where they say they see the topics already. If there is any existing, if there's none existing, then they should see the ability to add a topic. So let's go ahead and change that a little bit. So in here, instead of having an FAQ type selector, we're going to have a topic selector. And so for that to work, we need to add an API, the API layer for our topic list. So if we go into our API form, into our API folder rather, we can add a new file, and we're gonna call this file, we're gonna call it FAQ topic API. All right, and we can technically pretty much copy and paste this. No, let's not do it that way. Let's open app props, and we're gonna say the export type FAQ topic, and this is only gonna have a type, an ID, which is number, and it's gonna have a title. And it's gonna be a string. And then this, if you recall, what we did, we added a parent ID. And then it's gonna be a type number. Because we have our FAQ items that are gonna have a parent topic. And then our list for our topics, was called FAQ topic list name. I believe it was FAQ topics, right? Yeah, it was FAQ topics. GitHub Copilot is kind of reading my mind on that. All right, so we have our FAQ topic list, our FAQ list itself, and then let's go ahead and add our because again, when you're developing, I know that this is not, again, we're over engineering this, but it's important to keep these things in mind that you always want to build things a certain way. Call it OCD for me, but I just like to make sure that I build it to where it'll withstand time, right? Because it could very well be that a user wants to add 100, 1,000 FAQs. I don't know, you know, but I'm teaching you these this way. That way, whenever you have a really complex project, you can use these same methodologies, and your web part will continue to be utilized and useful for many years to come. I mean, I don't know how long obviously web parts are going to be around, but at least until there's something else that comes about, it'll give you the ability to build something very robust. And again, you can take some of these skills and move over to be a full stack developer, because in full stack development, you always have to keep that in mind. You always have to make sure that when you're building your application, that you take into consideration a lot of how the architecture is going to work and how the users are going to be interacting with your web part. All right, so we're going to export, and we're going to do the list column string. All right, so now that we have so now that we have, what did I do here? All right, so now that I have my app props already built, now I can go to my API and basically build it the same way that I had my FAQ API. All right, so in the FAQ API, I'm going to import for the topic, it's going to be FAQ topic from app props. I'm also going to bring in my FAQ topic list column string and my FAQ topic list name, because I'm going to need those. I'm also going to import my get sp from my pmp.js config, and then my set error from my Zustan store. Remember, this is what allows us to show the error inside of our boundary. Our boundary is going to be what's going to give the user some level of indication that, hey, there's something wrong, and here's what the issue is, and this is why you're seeing something wrong. Okay, so that's why I bring that up, that you have to use Zustan, which is a global state store, so that you can more or less get an idea, and the user can give you an idea rather of what they are seeing. Okay, so definitely something to consider whenever you're building these web parts. So all right, so export const fetch all FAQ, not all FAQ items, but we're going to do all FAQ topics URL. All right, this should be, since this is a template literal, call me, like I said, my OCD kicks in, but I think that we should do the list name like this. It makes it look cleaner, in my opinion. So and actually we can leave the quotes around it. Yeah, and so yeah, FAQ topic list name. All right, so we have our topic list name, and now we're going to go ahead and create our API. Yeah, our API rather. It's going to return an array of FAQ topic, and it's going to be wrapped inside a try catch. And if it errors out, we're going to throw a new error that says error fetching topics. And then we're going to add our error message. Our error. All right, so now in our try catch, in our actual try rather, sorry. In our try, we're gonna actually get SP, which is our object that we need. What am I missing here? Oh, it's because I haven't returned anything. But let me make sure. Let's format the document here. What do we have over here? Okay, great. All right, so this is gonna return our promise with the array of topics. So const items FAQ topic array is going to equal an empty array, and we're gonna same thing, get the top 1,000 items, and then we're gonna in our for async loop, we're gonna get all of our items 1,000 at a time if there's 1,000 topics. Obviously, this is over engineering again. Keep that in mind. It's not something that you would typically do. So just keep it in mind that we're over engineering just for the purposes of you learning a different methodology towards development, and something that you can leverage well, to build many other web parts that may be more complex than this. Fetch FAQ item by ID. We won't need this for our topics. We need more of our CRUD operations. So let's go ahead and create the create FAQ topic, and it's going to be an async function. We're going to pass to it the new topic. I don't like when Copilot just tries to take too much over, because then it confuses me. So yeah, so we're gonna set the error, and then we're gonna throw the error. And then here we're gonna get SP. Goes get SP. And then a new topic when we create it. And we're gonna return the new topic. And then after we've created it, we're gonna update our topic. FAQ topic. Again, I don't like to do that. That error. And then throw the error. After get SP, we're gonna await. Remember, here it's a little bit different. We don't have to actually save it in a variable when we update, because if you recall, the updating of an item doesn't actually return. It doesn't actually return the actual object. So all we're going to be doing is we're going to be updating the OData E tag, which, by the way, I don't think we put that in our FAQ topic, but we should get in the habit of doing that. We want to make sure that we have an OData E tag in there. All right, so here we're going to update list, get by title, FAQ topic list, get it by ID, and then we're going to update the item. But if you remember, we want to follow the update object with the OData E tag, similar to how we did here, right? Because we want to make sure that our users are not stepping over each other. Somebody might be updating the topic. Again, this is over engineered, plain and simple. You won't have to do this every time. It all depends on what your plans are as far as the level of complexity the web part will have. All right, so we're going to take the updated topic, and we're going to take the OData E tag, and the OData E tag basically, if you recall, the OData E tag is in quotations, um, and we're trying to change the OData E tag to just be a number, so that way we can add one to it. So right here, we're converting the OData E tag to a number, and then we're adding one to it so that we can increase the number on the OData E tag. All right, now we have our new E tag string, which is going to take the wait, it's a template literal. Why is it doing? Okay, so the new E tag number, and then we're gonna basically take that new E tag number and we're gonna create the updated item. Not the updated item, I updated topic, which is gonna be an FAQ topic. Sorry, let me. Is that, yeah? That's I just need this news Copilot for a bit. It's hindering me more than helping me in this scenario. Yep. So our FAQ topic is going to basically just update the object. So it's gonna take our updated topic. Let's just copy it from up here. We're going to use the spread operator to take the original values from our updated topic, but our OData E tag is going to be the new E tag number string. New E tag string, because it has to be type string. That's why I was giving us the error. And now we can return our updated topic. Updated topic. Oh, this is why. What are you doing? Updated topic result. Up. Oh wait. Updated topic result. Oh, this shouldn't be a void. This should be FAQ topic. So basically right there, we're returning the topic. We updated the OData E tag so that our users can be aware that so that our users can be aware that our, let me make sure I close out. Why did we put another brace here? We don't need that. We don't need that. All right. Okay, so we basically want to return the updated topic with the updated E tag. All right, and finally, we can just delete our topic. Delete FAQ topic. And this is going to be an async function. And our async function is going to receive the ID, which is going to be of type number. All right, and this is going to return a promise, which is going to be true or false. Was this deleted? If it was deleted, return true. If it wasn't deleted, error out, throw up. No big deal. All right, so in our try catch, set error. And in our error, we're going to say error deleting topic. Return our error. All right, and then we're going to throw our new error deleting topic, and also show our error. And in our try, we're gonna get our SP object, and then await sp.web.list.getByTitle FAQ topic list name. dot items dot get by ID, and then we're gonna select the ID from there, and we're gonna delete the object. After it's been deleted, we return everything's well in the world, where everything's true, we're good to go. All right, so we've created our CRUD API. All right, the next thing that we need to do is similar to how we're following patterns, right? In programming, you want to have patterns. Again, this is very good for whenever you're working on creating a web part and you're really working on your coding skills. You want to work towards, being flexible. You can work as a full stack developer, like I was mentioning. So we're going to be developing in patterns. So obviously our API is going to have hooks. One of the things that I would suggest is inside your hooks, once you start building and your web part starts evolving, you might want to create folders for these hooks. So this is going to be for the FAQ items. Actually, no, let's not do that. Again, we're working on this practically on the fly, right? We're essentially trying to work through this process as we go, as I stream. What is the problem here? Oh, because parent ID is not there. Okay, so parent ID is probably something that we're gonna have to pass to this. Whenever we create an FAQ item, parent ID is gonna be the new item, parent ID. And we're gonna have errors on not delete but edit. On edit item. Parent ID, updated parent ID. Use FAQ items. All right, so I think we're good here. We can save this. We can save this. All right. I'm going to show you a really cool trick. So the cool trick is that we're going to use generics. But first, we need to create a hook for getting all of our FAQ items. Remember, this hook is going to cache all of our data. But the benefit that we get here is that we don't have to rewrite, add, delete, or edit because that is going to be reusable. And I'll show you how. So let's go ahead and create our new hook. It's going to be called use FAQ topics. And again, it's all about patterns. So let's put this to the side. And then we're going to use FAQ item as an example. I'm going to import use SWR from SWR. And we're going to import FAQ topic from app props. Fetch all FAQ topics and the URL from the API. And we're going to export const use FAQ topics. And this is going to return our, we're going to, this hook is going to return the items. It's going to return a Boolean for while they're loading. It's going to return a mutator that allows you to append, basically modify your array of items. So let's go ahead and continue. So we're going to have our FAQ topics, which is going to be of type FAQ topic, and it's going to be an array. That's what it's going to return. It's going to return whether it's loading and if you got an error, and it's also going to have a mutate FAQ topics, which is going to be, nope, this is not what we want. GitHub Copilot, you got it wrong. We're going to do keyed mutator FAQ topic. All right, so this is what this hook is going to return. All right, so now let's build our SWR hook. So our SWR hook is going to, our hook rather, is going to have data that's going to be returned as FAQ topics. And it's going to return is loading, which is going to be is FAQ topics loading mutate, which is going to be the mutate FAQ topics, and then the error if it happens to have an error. And we're going to use SWR, fetch all topics URL, and then we're going to use our fetcher function. So fetch all FAQ, not FAQ items, sorry. Fetch all FAQ topics. Should have been here, and we can get rid of this API import. All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to be using SWR with our URL. This is basically, again, the identifier that allows us to connect our SWR hook to our data that's being that we're receiving. This comes in really handy because if you're using dependencies, your URL obviously will change because now you have a different parent ID. So that being said, that is what basically connects the two, so that whenever anything changes in that section, the data will be then retrieved all over again. Okay. All right. So now we need our options. And our options is we're going to set suspense to true, revalidation on focus to false. We don't need error retry. You can add it on there, but earlier I added it because I was having an issue where I was going back and forth on an issue that I had with putting the page in edit. I didn't need that, but you can certainly use it. You know, if you pause the video whenever you're watching this, you can pause it and see how the on error retry was set up if you want to do so. I don't do it because I think it's just over engineering that we just don't need. All right, so we return the FAQ topics, whether it's loading, the mutation of the FAQ topics, and then any errors that may have occurred when retrieving the data. All right, so here comes the fun part. We're going to be changing a few things. So in use add items, we're going to use, instead of FAQ item, we're going to use what I like to call, or I mean, what's called in TypeScript, something that's called generics. So we just basically, instead of putting an actual, instead of creating an actual type and strictly using that specific type only, this allows you to make it into, just like I was talking about when you go to the pharmacy, right? You can get a generic drug, whether it be Tylenol, ibuprofen. There's generics. They look the same, they target the same issue, but they have a different box. Same thing for the FAQ topic. It's an object, even though the properties are not identical. It's still an object, same as FAQ item. So we want to add a generic as our setup, so that we can basically reuse these. Let me see if it even lets me. Let me try. What is the issue here? What did it say? Problem is the generic type T is incorrectly used. You should specify the type. That's what I'm trying to avoid, though. I'm trying to... Maybe it's not going to let us. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we could. Let me see. And I use... Let's use... I'm pretty sure we can. Let's we're gonna go to our chat, not agent, because I don't want it to go crazy and do a bunch of stuff for me. So can use add items be used with generics to handle mutations for both FAQ item and FAQ topic. Make the hook generic, create FAQ item. Ah, okay. Yeah, so we can make it into a generic, but it looks like we have to use do we want to do this is the question. Probably not. I don't think it's a good idea to make it a generic hook, only because if we go the generic way to creating this, I think it's just gonna build more complexity than we really need. When we can just create a hook for that. Also, I don't know. I'm torn. I think that we could do it this way. But the question is, do we want to? I don't know. I think that we could consider it at least. Because the only thing that would change is we were basically creating a type where item is of generic type T. And we're basically gonna be setting up our add item mutation and add item options this way. So add item mutation adds it, and then here items optimistic item build estimate build optimistic. The trick is build optimistic. If we look at the original, whenever we're creating an item, so for our options, excuse me, we would have to build an optimistic we would have to use build up. It's not optimal, because what's going to happen is for our options, every time that we want to create another type of item inside of our web part, it's going to be problematic because we're going to have to build this build optimistic function every single time, and it defeats the purpose really. And if somebody comes and tries to work on your code, it might just confuse them more than anything. So I had considered maybe using the generics so that we can use a reusable hook. Um, I don't think that's gonna be optimal. Uh, I mean, technically, you could say, okay, well, build optimistic can always just be another generic function that basically takes the original array, adds the new item on there, and then returns that. Certainly, we can do that, but I just think it's gonna just overly create more confusion. So let's go ahead and do what I had originally intended. So let's create a new folder, and we're gonna say FAQ item, yeah, FAQ item hooks, and we're gonna add all of our hooks into here. So use add, delete, and edit. Actually in our FAQ items as well. So all of our FAQ item hooks go in here. It's gonna show errors for a little bit while things shift around. Okay. Let's start it over again and see if we still get the error. Well, that start with that continues. We're gonna form default values. Why is that getting an error? Oh, that's getting an error because we didn't add a parent ID. And we didn't add a comma here. All right, this should be working now. All right, so close this. Oh, we're still getting errors. What is the problem now? Oh, I think the issues are coming because we don't have parent ID is missing. Why am I missing parent ID? Parent ID is coming from data. Oh, that's an easy one. The reason we're getting this error is because in our validation, we don't have parent ID. Parent ID set to 0. And now we shouldn't be getting any more. I don't think we should be getting any more errors. Let's try it again. Sorry, it's been a long day. I know I said we would stop, but I'm having a little bit of fun, so let's just continue until we can't proceed anymore. All right, so everything's well, no errors found, good to go. All right, so in our hooks, we're gonna create a new set of hooks. This is gonna be called our FAQ topic hooks. And we're gonna create the same hooks here that we did for our items. So use add items. I think that this is gonna be a problem. The reason let's go with it and see if it does become a problem. We'll change it. So use add items. Use edit items is gonna be the next one. Use edit items.ts. And finally, we're gonna have a new file called use delete. Yes. And this should really be in here for our topics. All right. So we have our add, and it's basically gonna be the same as our FAQ item. The only difference is that we're going to be generating this hook for our this is going to be a hook that's going to be generated for the FAQ topics. All right, so similar to how we did this, again, we're doing patterns, guys. So import FAQ, sorry, we're going to go to assets, app props, and from app props we're going to import FAQ topic. And then we're gonna import the create FAQ topic from the API, and we're gonna create our add item hook. I'm gonna let AI see what it does. It should pretty much follow the same pattern that I've already pre-established for it. But let's see if it does. So far, so good. I think we're good. We have our option and mutation. We have our function where we're creating the item. And if we get an error, we're throwing the error. Close our function. Our options. Is this? Yep, this is building correctly. Again, we built this already, so if you understand the concept, and I'll explain it so you can know what's going on with this when we're done. All right, so here we go. Use add items is exactly the same as use add items for FAQ items, except now we're doing FAQ topics. All right. So what this is saying is we have two functions that are being returned from this hook. This hook is going to return two functions. First function is going to be the add FAQ topic mutation. That's going to return an array of FAQ topics. The next one's going to be the add FAQ topic options, which is going to return the options that are going to be utilized for the mutation. What is that? The option is that it's going to return the optimistic data. I talked about this. This is basically allowing the user to see immediate results. They don't have to wait for the post to happen. It immediately shows it. Rollback on error. What does that mean? If there's an error that occurs, it rolls that change back. It's like it never happened. Populate cache. What does that mean? It's populating, meaning it's updating the cache. Remember what I said? We only have two states cached on this app. You have your local state, which handles like your modals, if it's open, if it's closed, if the user chose A, if the user chose B. Then you have your remote state, the cache state that's coming from your API. What is on the SharePoint server, right? That is cached by SWR. And for that, we need to populate that cache. So what that's essentially saying is if the data, everything goes well, then go ahead and populate it, add it to the cache that we currently have. Revalidate means, do I have to rerun the fetcher again? Okay, I don't do that. Why? Because we're using optimistic update to immediately show the data and put it on the list. There's no need to go and pull the entire array of FAQ items. Why? You already have it. You're just adding one. The only scenario where I would revalidate is if you're doing something where there's a lot of users and you want to have it refetch all the items because maybe people are working on things concurrently, and you want to be able to have the user see any new items between when they started creating this new item and any other items were created by other users. That's the only reason I would use revalidate. All right. The next thing that you have is your two functions. So these are the actual functions. Think of these as the cookie cutter. Well, we've discussed this before. This is a cookie cutter. Basically, it allows you to build a stencil of what a stencil of what to type in for these cookie cutter functions. Okay. All right. So now that we have our use add items, we're going to move over to our use edit items. All right, so our use edit items is going to be the same as use edit items, but for our item. All right, same, following our pattern. Inside of our app props, we're going to import FAQ topic. All right, and we're going to import update FAQ topic from FAQ topic API. And we're going to use edit items. We're going to let GitHub Copilot help us out. Same scenario here. We're basically just updating our items. It's following the established pattern. All right. And I'm going to explain this one too. And basically what the main differences are between them. All right. So between the add items, what it's basically in the add items, it's basically saying when the item, while the item is being created, we can optimistically update it with the original array of FAQ topics plus the optimistic FAQ, which is a new topic that was just added. Okay. And then on our edit item, what we're doing is we're basically taking the array and we're finding where the array matching ID, the item with the matching ID is at, and we're going to update the values on that item. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the delete items. So use delete item, and we're going to follow the same pattern that we had for our item. So use delete item, we can put here. Same thing here, we're going to import from our assets, app props, we're going to import our FAQ topic and import topic API. I'm going to import the delete FAQ topic. Export const, use delete items, delete FAQ topic mutation, correct, ID, the array of the original, and we're going to return an array of FAQ topic. And here's where we work on adding our functions. Okay. All right. So our hook on a delete, the only difference is between the edit and delete is that instead of removing, going back to the analogy of a revolving door, instead of going through the revolving door and updating, finding the item where the update happened, going ahead and updating it and letting it go through the revolving door. In this case, we're going to find the item and we're going to remove it. We're going to filter it out. That's why you see the filter method being applied to where the topic ID is not equal to the ID of the item we're deleting. So if the ID is not equal, then it's going to be populating in our updated topics array. Think of it, like I said, as a group of items. They're going through the revolving door. Is your ID number matching the ID item of the one that was deleted? If it doesn't match, get in line. We're good. Get inside. If it does match, you're not allowed. Get out. The bouncer's basically not letting them into the building. That's what's happening there. Okay. So that's what happens when you do the deletion of items. So now that we have all of our hooks created for our FAQ topic, we need to update one more thing. What's going to have to be updated is the FAQ items is going to have a parent now. And because it's going to have a parent, we're going to have to create a way for it to have a dependency on that. And though, so what's basically going to happen is, if you look at the image that we were looking at for our idea, is when the user clicks on a specific topic. Let's look at the address here so we can see what's going on here. So when the user clicks on one of these topics, what's basically going to do is we're going to switch the, what you see down here as far as the questions. That's what our goal is. Okay. To be able to do that. But what are we doing, right? We're switching to different topics, and so the topic is going to become the dependency. So if you're familiar with React, you're familiar with use effect. At the end of a use effect, we have a dependency array, meaning what properties is this use effect dependent on? Why? Because depending on a change to a specific parameter, then the use effect should be triggered. Same exact scenario is for the use SWR. Okay. It is getting a little late on me. We have gone over. I had originally set us up for talking for about an hour. We've gone over about an hour and a half. I know my my Twitch stream says that I'm supposed to be streaming for 2 hours. I have to be honest. It is a lot for me every day. I'm gonna try to do an hour and a half every day, just like we did today. Where we are leaving off for tomorrow is we've already created all of our hooks. Tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll add our dependency to our items so that whenever we switch topics, the items change. So we'll be adding a dependency array, and then we'll work on our UI so that the user can easily see and manipulate things on the UI and be able to create, update, delete topics and FAQ items. Okay. It's pretty exciting. I'm telling you, this is going to be great stuff that you're going to be able to leverage. And again, we're over architecturing things so that we can learn the different ways that we can use these methodology strategies for for the long term. And actually, I noticed something. Populate is wrong. This should say populate, not populate. What in the world? Why did it say that? Populate cache. And this is odd because it's on items. That's weird. Populate cache. Populate cache. Okay, so anyway, that's a little weird. I didn't think that would be working, but apparently it was. Nevertheless, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for coding with me. Again, tomorrow we'll see if we can defeat Killer Croc at the beginning of our stream without getting hit. That's the goal. And if everything goes well, we will be continuing with coding. I'll try to join a little bit earlier. Again, thanks for coding with me tonight. Have a safe night wherever you're at. If you're during the day, have a great day. And we'll see you same time tomorrow. Peace.